Hello everyone, I'm Vaughan Liddicoat, CEO of Global Business Formula and co-founder of the Achievement Club Australia. I am so grateful that you're watching this video because today I have the secrets from VIP with Brendon Burchard. That's right, recently when I was on a trip to LA, I went to one of his conferences and I had the great privilege of becoming VIP and asking him a question that changed my career. Now I also took copious notes on the questions that the other VIPs asked, and I've got them ready for you. Now I've picked 4 of them that I'm going to share today because I believe they'll help you cross boundaries, cross countries, and get your message out there in a bigger way and a greater way, because these are some of the biggest aha moments that I've had recently in my own business and career, and I cannot wait to share them with you. Now if you're a lot like me, you probably struggled with negative thinking. You've just had that feeling on your heart sometimes where it's like, oh man, is it worth it? This is so hard. How do I get rid of these negative feelings? I want to spread my message. I want to get out there in a bigger way. I want to build my business. I want to double my happiness, but I can't. My overriding feelings of self-esteem push me down. Or perhaps you want to find the right partners to help spread your message or to get you out there in a bigger way, and you're looking for them, but you don't know what to ask when you meet them. Or perhaps you're just trying to get yourself out of a rut. You know, successful people are in ruts as well. You don't have to be a destitute and homeless person to recognize that you're actually in a rut. This is something that most people will come across at one point in their life, and that's what I want to help you identify and get over. And lastly, this was the question that I actually asked him that changed the game for me, was how do you sell tickets to your event and build a brand around it? Because I've watched what a lot of these guys do, and to be honest, I don't want to be on the road 200 days a year speaking. Right? And this may not particularly apply to a speaking career. This is just a business strategy I think will help you in a tremendous way. You know, when I was a young child, I suffered from what I would call an inferiority complex. It was really tough for me. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was picked on a lot at school. And I used to think that people that are happy or successful were either incredibly lucky or because they had that result, that they were better than me in some way. Maybe if they had more money, that they were actually a better person. And you know, thank God that I had the right books and tools, and I ended up hiring Bob Proctor as a coach and learning some very specific strategies about who I was that helped me understand that results are just results. They don't make you a better person. This was a big moment for me because my negative thinking was really entwined in being caught up in the world and how do we actually achieve results? Like, what do we actually do? And the problem is we attach a lot of meaning to a result without understanding what the cause of a result is. So if you've got low finances, if you're in debt, if you've got bad relationships, bad health, you're in just a situation you don't like, or you're stuck in a rut, they're all just results. You know, if you earn millions of dollars, it doesn't make you a better person. If you're a great dancer, that doesn't make you a better human being. It just means you've highly tuned a skill which other people admire. But people take that as conceit, and sometimes it goes to their head. But it doesn't make you a better human being. So what we want to do is we want to change the results in our life. Would you agree with that? That's what we're trying to do. We're out there trying to change our own game. And every bit of knowledge we can put to work will help us change the result. And that was the real old school way of thinking of trying to go out there and do it all yourself. You know, it's like, I want to change my result, so I'm just going to go and try and earn more money. I'll go get a second job. Or I'll just try another diet. Without ever understanding the root causes in our thinking. Now, the new way of doing things, and this is the way I would encourage you to do it, is you either pay people for the results, or you go and travel somewhere around the world and pick an expert's brain so you can shortcut your learning. That's the only way you can do it. Bob always told me that the way you change your habits is by sustained repetition over a period of time. That's it. Or an emotional impact like a death or a divorce. I do not recommend that for high growth strategies. You want to absolutely engage in a pattern of growth every day. Now, the best way to do that is you go to the people that have the result and you ask them, what did you do to do that? Because that's amazing. Because figuring it out on your own sucks. And it is not a best practice of the leaders in the world. This applies in every single industry. So I encourage you, start befriending the leaders in the game. Interview them. Go and find out what they do. I've traveled around the world just to ask people a question. In fact, the second time I met Brendon Burchard, I had the flu. It was in the middle of winter. It's probably a man flu. And so I'm like, it's 5 in the morning. I get up and I'm like, I cannot get out of bed to drive 3 hours to go to Sydney to hear Brendon. But I knew I needed to. Why? Because experts the leaders do what it takes, not what's convenient. So with the flu and a coffee in hand, I drove. Now, I went to this Pitch Fest seminar, right? This is where everyone's up there slamming their products for the whole day. And I'm like, man, Brendon's the last speaker. Okay, I'm still dying. So I make my way through the day. 4 p.m. comes around. He gets it on stage and kills it. You can tell he just got off the plane, but he crushed it. He gets off the stage, goes back. I wait till 500 people have cleared the room. I'm still hanging out. I'm like, I have to talk to this guy. I've driven all this way with my man flu and my coffee. I need to talk to him. So I saw him poke his head out. I spotted him and I like ran right up to him. I'm like, what's up, man? I'm Vaughn. I've shaken your hand like before. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. And this is the game you have to play if you want to win. You have to be willing to make those sacrifices in advance of any guaranteed result. That's what winners do. That's what the best do. I would not have become a world-class dancer if I wasn't willing to spend the time doing that sort of work and traveling 1,500 kilometers to do a dance lesson, or getting on a plane and spending 2 weeks in London having nothing but dance lessons and flying home and seeing no sights. This is what the best do. So that's what I do, and that's what I want you to do. You ask the questions. So when I was in LA, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be VIP. And I'm surprised not many people really took up this opportunity. I'm like, dude, you get to ask this guy the question. A question. That's the reason I was like, I get to ask him a question. That's all I cared about. Now, I had to then think, what's the one question I'd ask him? Oh my God, how's that for pressure? And so that's the number 4 one I'm going to talk about a bit later. But the first one was negative thinking. How do we overcome negative thinking? And he had something really great to say on this. He said, you simply ask the question, what if, and you flip it. So what this means is, most people will say, but what if I sell tickets and people don't come to my event? Well, flip it. What if people do come to your event? So you insert a positive. Flip it to the opposite, the positive. So what if people don't come? What if they do come to your event? What is the first right action? Think of how powerful that is. What is the first right action? I love that. Because this is, when I look back in my own life, this is what I've done. When I wanted to create my first seminar, I was so scared, but I did that. I said, but who's going to come? And I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. What if they do come? I need a venue. I booked a venue. Then I said, cool, now what? Whoa, well, what if people want to buy a ticket? Well, I need a ticket. So I then put tickets on Eventbrite. And I said, what if they actually buy it? Oh my God, I need to actually be able to say something. Woohoo! I better write it out. Right actions, you see. And this is how you eradicate negative thinking. Now, when I say eradicate it, you'll never get rid of it. You'll be able to conquer it every time with this simple strategy. And it works so well. So and next time that doubting voice comes into your head and you doubt your ability, you flip it and you say, what if it actually happens? What do I need to do next? The second one was about partnering. You know, at the end of the day, all great businesses have immense networks, very powerful networks. Some people call this masterminding, others are networking. What we're talking about here in this area is affiliates. Affiliates are people who will promote your brand or product and get a percentage of it. So in this, how do you attract the right affiliates? Well, one of the answers he said was, you ask them if they've promoted before. Have they promoted? Because a lot of people will get the concept, but they've never promoted for other people. And he said, if they say yes, you then go, okay, show me what you've promoted and how you've done it. I want to see your campaigns. So you actually want to see what they've sent out because you want to see the tone. He didn't really explain a lot about this, but what I interpret it as is you want to sort of, it's almost like an interview. You're seeing if they're the right harmony with what you're about. Do they have the same core beliefs? Do they have a good value system? Or are they just doing this for the money game? You know, nothing wrong with money, but you need a bit of both. But you need to have the right values when picking the right partners. Now, he said if they say no, what you then have to be aware of, it's going to suck a lot of your time because you're going to have to teach these people how to market. You don't want to do that, really. You want to find the people that already have the list, already market in an ethical way, they do it in a very clever way, and they do it with their own feeling and tone, and the list loves them. That's essentially what you're trying to do, is to qualify these people out. The next one was, how do you identify that you're in a rut? This is a huge one, because I look around at people in my life, and I look around at other people's lives, and I watch what they do. I have seen some incredibly talented, successful people hit ruts. They're done. They wake up in the morning, they have no idea why. They're going to work, for what reason? They're getting paid 6-figure salaries, and they're depressed and upset. And I'm thinking, you know, that's what you were chasing after for all those years, and you got it, and look how upset and unhappy you are. Why? Because they're in a rut. Now, a rut simply means you're trapped in obligation. You are just you're so overwhelmed with having to do the day-to-day, you're in the grind, or what I call the rut race, you're on the wheel just going around. There's no particular end in mind though. That will make you incredibly unhappy. And the way I look at it is, how do you get out of that rut? You need something to pull you forward, to push you beyond the comfort zone you're in, because a rut is a comfort zone. That's why successful people have these too. Billionaires have ruts. Can you believe that? Because it's not a money game, it's an internal game. And so the rut, to pull you out of it, you need a goal, something so big, burning desire kicks in, as Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich. You need that burning desire where it kicks life into you. It gets you out of bed, and it keeps you up at night, and it keeps you going. And even if you don't hit the goal, the journey of it pushes you and pulls you, and your spirit lights up. You feel joyful and fulfilled. That's what pulls you out. Now, the last one, which was the question I had for him, I asked him, I said, Brendon, you've done an amazing job with your business. How do you sell tickets to an event? And then how do you build a brand? So I sort of snuck 2 questions in there. And he said, great questions. Don't sell tickets to your event. I dropped. I was like, that is the best advice I've ever heard. But I had no idea why. I was like, that's just awesome. Talk about like flipping what everyone else is doing in the world. Don't sell tickets. I said, what does that even mean? And he said, well, I don't sell tickets to my event. If you've ever noticed, what I do is I sell an online course, and then I gift 2 free tickets to that. And I went, that is genius. I love that. And he said, now, you've got 2 people coming. So say in January, February, March, you're promoting your course all year. You're doing webinars, you're selling it, whatever you're doing to promote it. Then at the end of the year, you have your seminar. You have to have a $97 registration fee for the materials, like the workbooks you get presented, and to hold your seat. And if you don't charge that, you have a 70% no-show rate. 70%. Okay, so 70% won't show if you don't do that. So you must have a reserve the seat fee in place, and then if people don't show up, they get charged $500 for not showing up. He said, that's how you sell out a seminar room. Now, that way you don't have to book a room for 1,000 people and 100 show up. You just change the room. You're not pressured. He said, because if you try to sell tickets, like Tony Robbins and all those big guys do, they have teams and teams of people to do that, and it's so much stress and work. He said, do the opposite. Online course, free tickets. It changed the game for him. And that means he's not a road warrior. I said, I'm in. And he said, then that's how you build your brand, because the brand has no brand when you first start. The name is just a name. It's the people. He said, provide value, provide service, woo them, really go above and beyond, because they will build the name and the brand for you when you do that. Now, with those 4 strategies, I know they're going to serve you at a high level. I've been so grateful I could share these with you, because they're like the secret sauce from the inside. And man, was I writing notes. I got like 6 pages of answers from this whole room. And I was so blessed to be able to at least ask him that direct question, because, you know, going from Sydney and meeting him after that whole day extravaganza to actually doing that and ask a couple of questions there, I was in a much better position this time in LA to actually ask the good quality questions and to be in that zone. And I know I have the reach to help you, and I know it'll serve you in a big, big way. Now, I'd encourage you, please, click the link below. I'd love to give you weekly training. Get on my list. I'd love to give you this sort of knowledge every single week, because it will improve your life. You can simply unsubscribe anytime if you wish. It's no problem, no questions asked. In the meantime, make sure you serve openly. Always be grateful. This is VAUGHAN LIDDICOAT, and thank you for tuning in.